Instead of playing games today or using the monkey app and today instead, we're just gonna be chilling, eating some baked potatoes, and what else? We're gonna watch an anime, no cap. All right. So pay attention, and we watch One Piece. Cat. This is my third baked potato. We're gonna share this tab. We're gonna watch this. Go.
Flies over the top of God's finger. He informs his grandpa Verghese vegetables from their garden and comments that it's been a while since they have encountered one. Grandpa that he doesn't have anything to take it down with. This prompts him to grab up. He warms up a little. His grandson informs him that their prey will get so, which plucks the bird out the sky. Percival gets the bright idea of jumping off the cliff and hanging onto the dying bird. He misjudges and pushes himself and the prey off the top of the mountain. Verghese frantically rushes to catch them, but he's too slow. The boy is no slouch as he holds onto the bird while keeping himself up with his other hand. He gets back on land, and they head inside, break it down. Percival is given the honors and he skillfully skins and cuts the bird into portions. His grandpa is impressed with his competency in carving meat. The two cook a piece of the creature and Percival is excited to eat. The guy grabs a section and begins to devour it. As the two enjoy their meal, a seal under the head of the rock bird disappears. Later on, Percival trains with his grandpa where the aim is to tackle the old-timer. The young buck charges in and creates an opening to push Verghese back, but he absorbs Percival's momentum. The old bones then picks him up and throws him, bringing an end to the fight. The young boy tosses and turns in frustration that he lost again. His grandpa gives him some confidence when he admits that it was a close exchange and he had to wrestle him seriously to stop his momentum. This makes Percival happy as he dances around. Verghese excuses himself since he must head down to the spring to wash their dishes. As he does so, he reminisces about how his grandson was a baby not that long ago. He is shocked at the rate of the boy's growth. Thinking about Percival triggers him to remember something important, so he stops doing the dishes and dashes. He finds his grandson taking a pee at the back and reminds him that it's his birthday the next day. Verghese falls to the floor shock when Percival asks how old he is going to be. His grandpa tells him that he will be 16 years old. This will officially make him an adult. Percival is excited that he gets to have a cold one with his grandfather in the future. He shuts that idea down, saying that the kid's still too young for the happy juice. This takes all the excitement away from him. The following day, Verghese leads him to the top of a cliff. His grandpa officially recognizes his new age and asks if he wants to leave God's finger to go on a grand adventure across the world. He's baffled to hear Percival express his disinterest. Verghese passionately tells his grandson that when he turned 16, his wanderlust compelled him to leave his homeland. The old man is vexed that his grandson is not the same. Percival explains that he has fun every day, so he doesn't have the desire to seek adventure. Verghese tries to stir up curiosity inside him by pointing out the hazy structure they sometimes see beyond the clouds. The kid already knows it to be the Sky Temple. His grandpa adds that it was created by the goddess race known as Celestials. It supposedly floats in the air, but Percival is sure that Verghese has seen it before, but the senior citizen tells the boy he doesn't know how to fly. His grandpa continues his attempts to light a spark by describing the vast land under God's finger called Britannia, which is laden with exciting adventures and mysteries. For instance, there is a knight who rows his mystic ship across the skies. There are caves that lead to hell, a maze-like forest that is impossible to escape from, and much more. Verghese is shocked to see that these tales didn't line his chest, as Percival is more interested in catching skyfish for dinner. That night they enjoy their catch and Verghese begins to ramble on under the inspiration of the happy juice. He tells the boy that his father was so keen to go adventuring that he shot out of the door the moment he turned 16. But he brings up the fact that his father has passed away, causing Verghese to quickly change the topic. He now wants to know if Percival doesn't feel bored and isolated living so high up. The kid assures him that he doesn't because his grandpa is there with him. After the meal, Verghese continues to drink and starts to utter an old creed, which Percival finishes because he always hears it when his grandpa gets lit. It centers on crushing evil and rescuing the weak. Verghese is surprised that he has memorized it. His grandson turns and promises to protect him no matter what happens. Verghese is moved by his words, but hides it by saying he's not yet senile enough to need his protection. They get some sleep, but the youngin gets up in the middle of the night and goes out to watch the night sky. It turns out that a fire was lit in his heart when his grandpa was telling him about the wonders of the world. He wants to go on, and it gets him so excited that he runs around the summit. Percival trips over, and while on the floor, he reminds himself that he can't go because of his grandpa. He ends up falling asleep outside, but he gets a vision of Verghese alerting him to something. He gets up, and the place is now foggy. A creaking sound catches his attention, and soon enough, the knight who rows his ship across the skies appears before him. Ironside docks it at the edge of the peak and talks to himself about how he detected Verghese's power when he shot the rock bird, as it was his familiar. This explains the seal. He was surprised that the old guy lives this far out, and it now makes sense why he combed the lands and never found him. Percival is just excited that the knight his grandpa spoke about exists. Ironside greets him and asks about Verghese. He's astonished to hear that the boy is his grandson. He tells the boy that he's an old friend from their holy night days. They parted ways 16 years ago, but Ironside has returned because he has some business with him. Percival points out that their house is beyond the hill and even adds that he's probably making breakfast now. The boy is more excited to have a look at the boat, so Ironside permits him. Internally, he calls Verghese a cruel man for hiding the truth from Percival while raising him. At that moment, Percival senses something. He finds it weird, but brushes it off as he's more interested in inspecting the ship. He wonders how it floats and even hops on and starts paddling, hoping that it will move, but he's disappointed when it doesn't budge. He assumes that one must be a holy knight to operate it, but he's ignorant of what a holy knight is. Percival's attention turns back to Ironside as he finds him to be creepy. He puts down the paddle and runs toward the house, realizing that this stranger might have sinister intentions. All the while, Verghese cuts some vegetables as he complains about Percival running off first thing in the morning. He pauses in shock when he hears Ironside commenting on how he's using the sword the king gave him as a kitchen knife. These words are followed by an attack that is blocked, but it sends the old man crashing into the house. The intruder confesses that he's been looking for Verghese because 16 years ago he betrayed their master and fled. He never expected to find him living his best life on the frontier. Verghese states that it was they who were the betrayers, which is why he cut ties with them. He quickly recovers and attacks Ironside, leading to a high-level exchange. The intruder gets the upper hand and punctures a cross-shaped wound into Verghese's stomach with his magic. Percival arrives at that moment and tells him to stop. Ironside shoots the face of the cliff and tells the boy that there is an order to all things, so he should wait his turn. Percival plucks one of the falling stones. He then jumps off the cliff and throws it at the knight, demanding he get away from his grandpa. He destroys the first projectile, but the boy lands and swiftly picks up a bigger one and throws it. Ironside remarks on Percival's lack of discipline as he's about to finish him, but Verghese intercepts. He tells his grandson to run, but the boy refuses to leave. Ironside is fine with that because he has no intention to let either one of them escape. He casts his spell, which cuts Verghese all over his body. The natural ketchup even slaps Percival in the face. The old man falls to the floor, and as the boy stands there in shock, Ironside tells him to dispraise his grandpa for this situation. He hits the boy with a powerful cross attack that even penetrates the cliff behind. Percival stumbles back, but still stands his ground and throws a punch, but it is weak due to the damage he's just taken. Ironside savagely kicks him. Verghese wants to know why he would target him after so many years. The knight reveals that a few days ago they were given an ominous prophecy that a group called the Four Knights of the Apocalypse would drive their leader, King Arthur, to his ruin. They don't know anything about them currently, so they decided to stamp out anyone who has the potential to be among their ranks. No matter how far Verghese has fallen, there could have been a chance that he was a member. He's confused as to why the knight took down Percival as well. The grandfather wonders if he has no compassion. As he leaves, Ironside reveals that all his actions are to serve a greater cause. Verghese apologizes to his grandson as he tries to sit up, but he's shocked to see the kid standing. The boy cries and also apologizes for not being able to do anything to protect him. Verghese corrects him and informs that he was the one who was supposed to protect him in this instance. He hugs his grandson and tells him that he needs to find someone who will be precious to him and whom he can trust. This is the person he's to protect as they walk through life together. Percival feels like this is God's punishment because he lied. He confesses that he wanted to go on an adventure. Verghese reveals that he lied too and lies down. He can't believe that the kid is walking around with that wound. He assures him that it's nothing since he has been training every day. Verghese drops the bombshell that the knight in the red armor is his father. He apologizes for telling that lie, but he has his reasons. Percival doesn't believe this because he can't imagine why his father would do such a terrible thing. The old man doesn't have enough time to explain, so he advises him to Ironside and ask him. He tells Percival that he must prepare for a journey, but the boy doesn't want to set off alone. With the last of his strength, he puts his grandson's head, assuring him that he will always be with him and that Percival is his hope. This hand slumps down as the life leaves his body. In the aftermath, he heals up, buries his grandpa, and lives for some time alone. As he cleans up the place, he finds a wooden box that has a new set of clothes. There's a note that reads that it was for the day he decides to leave. He cries while holding it. Some time passes and Percival finally decides to set off. He wears his grandpa's cape and helmet after he pays his respects to him. His cool departure moment is ruined when he trips, but he begins the long descent down, almost having a few close falls along the way. He celebrates when he finally sees the land below but gets too excited and falls off. He lands on a rock bird. Bird throws him off. Percival promises to eat them all for this transgression. A tree breaks his fall as he touches land for the first time. His attention is drawn towards a creature with a necklace. That brings the episode to an end.
Damn, it's over. Okay. Y'all gonna have to wait. Ah, shit. I put lotion on my hands. Fucking hands. That shit's fuck. Hold on, let me stop sharing this. It's acting weird, the screen. Oh, yeah, the 7 Deadly Sins. We're gonna watch this. Hold on. It's not up here. Let's see what else I may have. Hey, I was planning on watching one